Hi, so the weekend previous to this one, I performed what may be my final gig, my final live performance. Now, as anyone who's been sort of watching, can see I've obviously had a couple of videos on sort of health conditions and how fun they are. But the fact of the matter is, the stresses and strains involved in, two 45-minute sets, and the setup, and the packing away, while still trying to provide an entertaining performance. It's a lot. It's not one of those really easy things, where there's hardly any physical effort involved at all. Quite the opposite. It's kind of the same, if you will, as footballers do. They go out for 45 minutes, have a bit of a break, go out for a second 45, and some of them don't even have to perform the second 45 in full. Or some people, are even off before the first half. So the fact of the matter is, we're doing the same kind of effort as footballers and being paid nowhere near the same. But it wasn't a mercenary decision, because at the end of the day, it's still income, and it was great, to have that coming into my pocket. It was brilliant. But the fact of the matter is, the enjoyment return, because no one performs out of a need, really. In the sense of they have to perform because of a contractual obligation, for the most part. People tend to kind of go, I'm performing because I enjoy it. So if you look at it as a set of scales, and you've got the enjoyment on one side and the stresses and strains on the other, ideally they're about there. Sometimes it might sort of be there where the enjoyment's a lot greater, and that's brilliant. But at least there's an ideal there. However, slowly sinking, I was finding. The stresses and strains were far outweighing the enjoyment benefits. Now, this is because of conditions mentioned, and one video I haven't really done because it's not a topic that I suppose you can do a massive amount on how it affects you, is hypertension, high blood pressure, which is still not coming down in as good a way as we'd hope. So you've got that potential of high blood pressure sort of skyrocketing and causing all sorts of coronary issues. You've got the anxieties that come through sort of tacked on to the other issues, and then of course with the fibromyalgia, although obviously this kind of scenario that I'm on about does have a physical cause, there is an element of it that does have stresses and strains on the body, from lifting and things like that. The fact that the fibromyalgia is there means that it's kind of felt a lot more, and it was generally, over time, it had gone from perhaps the next day was a bit difficult to pretty much putting me out of action for pretty much 2 days. That's not a good state of affairs. That's not something that we want to be having. So I have made the choice, that is something that I can no longer sustain. So obviously I can carry on doing this. The stresses and strains of this are minimal, and mostly mental and emotional. So but I can meter that a lot better. I can kind of ration it out, should I say, rationalise things and sort of react at my own pace. And I'm still writing and recording music, so that's always good too. So it's not like this is the end of my creativity, because as I've probably mentioned before, creativity is a big thing for me, and I love to make stuff. I love to also communicate ideas. I love to educate and inform, and that's always been, I suppose, a driving factor for me. So I'm not giving that up. I'm just choosing to do it in a less strenuous way. And all being well, things can improve. There's a possibility. And if that is the case, if that does happen, then I can pick up where I left off. But it's not worth running myself into the ground for. And if anyone's in a similar position, where they're running themselves into the ground for something just because it's what they've always done, or perhaps out of some obligation that they feel they have, I'd definitely say health comes first. Always look after your health, because it's the one thing you're not going to be able to get back if it's lost. But you can get other things back, so definitely look after yourself. And as always, take care.